Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we have His Grace Madhav Prabhu with us today, and we are presence today. He is going to present us on Sutras for Intelligent Living, and we are thankful to Prabhuji for coming here and delivering this beautiful topic and enlightening all of us. So as you all know that he has been serving ISKCON since more than 30 years. He has been involved in various projects, and His material qualification we have seen in the poster. He has done masters, double masters in philosophy as well as botany. So we are very much fortunate that he has come among all of us to give this lecture. So before starting, I would like to request all of you to kindly switch on the video if possible and make this session more interactive. So when you are attending this session from both sides, we can see you, then it becomes very enlivening and we can help you in a better way. So thank you so much, Prabhu. You can just start and we will be grateful that if you can continue. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamaya Danti Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahrani Vita Shiv Shakam Shivatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sandhina Bandhu Jagate Upesha Gopika Kantarada Kantamastute Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Namami Hari Priye Vrindaya Tulsidevya Priyaya Keshava Sicha Vishnu Devi Satyavate Namo Vancha Kalpituru Visupasam Dubheye Vichapatitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavi Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charini Nirvisesha Shindavadi Paschatya Deshatayani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Ram. Thank you very much for inviting me to this program. It is always interesting to be able to actually present this timeless wisdom of the Vedic literatures. I will try to share my screen with you. Okay. How do I share my screen? Okay, I'll do that. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. So, all right. So today we are basically trying to present to you that the simple thing that from the Bhagavad Gita and the other Vedic literatures that we have, we have been given an opportunity here to actually live very intelligently. Because while to live in this world, you have to have a lot of challenges. There are a lot of challenges that we face when we have to live in this world. So to live in this world, if we cannot live very intelligently, if we don't actually focus on living very intelligently, then we normally will be living very foolishly, obviously, because life is a challenge. and every step, every turn of life, we have to face so many challenges. In fact, we are not always, we are not all born, very intelligent. I mean, we always require knowledge to actually live in the world. We are all born ignorant, abodha jatam, because that is why there is a need for education. And we all need education. We all have to live, are all sent to be given education, or we all look out for education, because we always need some kind of guidance to live in this world. So there's always a question, what should we do and what should we not do? How should we do? How should we not do? What is a good action? What is bad action? So everything we need, we actually got to learn how to live. And this world has got a lot of challenges for us. Right now, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we are all trying to draw up our resources and see how we can live, because something which has not been experienced. In fact, every day is different. Every moment is different. Every year is different. Every season is different. And therefore, we need to have draw on our resources, our ingenuity, our abilities to actually see how to deal with it. And if we don't learn how to deal with it properly, then we know how much trouble every one of us go through. So therefore, we need to actually, therefore, there is a whole host of wisdom that is available to us from the Bhagavad Gita and so many other literature. Always there is a lot of wisdom for us. So the point that I'm trying to make is that of all the literatures that is there are literatures, especially the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other literatures that we have today, just to show you, that we need all these literatures to help us live intelligently in this world. I'll be quoting from the Chanakya Niti also. So basically, coming to the point that in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidura asura. Na socham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. So it says here that those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. So, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. We all have some natures. We all have certain natures to do certain things. Like for example, loke vivaya amishamadya seva janasya jantur. We don't have to teach people how to do a few things. Like for example, everyone has the pravritti of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Everyone knows how to do that. Even birds and animals know how to do that. That is their pravritti. And amongst human beings also, there is always a pravritti to engage in these things, without any restriction, or to do it more and more. As soon as you start having fun with anything, we think that we can keep on doing it more and more. So that is called our pravritti, our nature. Pravrittim cha sarva bhutanam nivritti cha bhagunam. But to know when to stop is actually the beginning of civilization. The beginning of knowing when to stop is when you actually develop mahagunam. You develop great qualities. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidura asura. Na socham na chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. And some people do not know what is socham, what is cleanliness. Our definition of cleanliness keeps changing. Napi cha acharo what is proper behavior and what is the truth. Satyam teshu vidyate. We don't know. We just keep trying different things, and we think that is right. Tomorrow that is wrong, and then we say no, no, no. We'll change it over. Just like the medicines for the COVID, things. In the first they said there's no medication. Then they said, oh, maybe we try this. Maybe then some people said no, the malaria medicines work better. Then they said no, some other medicines better. No, no, this is going to work better. No, this is better. So we just keep doing all this thing because we don't know, because this is the nature of the material world, that we are all born actually ignorant. And therefore, we always need to be educated. Therefore, there are so many institutions of schools and colleges. So many schools and colleges are there. Why? Because we need to be educated. So, therefore, what is pravritti? What is to be done and what is not to be done? How much to be done, when to be stopped. Nivritticha mahagunam. There are a lot of things that we need to stop ourselves from. We need to put our brakes so that we don't destroy ourselves. So therefore, from the Bhagavad Gita and from the other literatures, I'll just build you up. I will just pick you up on this and take you across to a few other shlokas, and then we'll go back into the Bhagavad Gita and see how the Bhagavad Gita actually brings us great wisdom. And if you actually learn and take help of this wonderful literatures, I mean, not just the Bhagavad Gita, there's so many literatures, but because we cannot read so many, we at least tell you, at least let us start with the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the greatest literatures of the world. So coming back, let's get into action. Let's say now, in the 5th chapter of the Chanakya Nidhi, it is very nicely said here, how can you test a person? Now, we all go around, we think everyone is nice, but you got to, if you want to try out, if you want to buy gold, you got to know how to test gold. What is gold? Then only you can, buy gold. Otherwise, you'll be cheated. Similarly, we also should know how to test people. We all live around with people, and we think we can make friends with anyone, we can do whatever we want. But the Chanakya Nidhi actually tells us how you should test a man. He says, Yatha chaturvi kanakam parikshate. Just like as you told, Kanaka is gold. Gold is tested by 4 ways. It is said, Yatha chaturvi kanakam parikshate. Pariksha, you do pariksha of gold by 4 ways. Nigharshana, gharshana, nigharshana. Gharshana means to rub. When we rub a piece of gold on a stone, jewelers know how to do that. Then you know whether this is gold or not. That is the way of testing. That's one way of testing. The other way is by cutting. Nigharshana chedana, by cutting. Then by heating it up, heating, tapa, and then by beating it, tadanahi. You can test the gold. Okay, these are those who know, who are into the jewelry business or anything like that, would know that these are the 4 ways of testing gold. But then how do you test a man? Everyone thinks, oh, I would find out, try to be super intelligent. No, you can't. It's not so easy to test a person. But we have, beautiful literatures and books from which you can test how a person is. You may be thinking, oh, maybe he's, got, what do you call it, Milton Boone's kind of stuff. Oh, he's tall and dark and he's so good. No, it's not because of that. A man should be tested by 4 things. Tatha chaturvir purushaha parikshate. In the same way as you test gold, you should test a man by 4 things. And what are they? Tyagena shilena gunena karmana. You should test a man by his renunciation, not by his attachment. Renunciation. Renunciation means what? Tyagena. If he is very attached, it is not a good sign of a man. a man should be tested by these four things, his renunciation. Because this material world is a place where there is so much destruction. It's a temporary place. You try to make friends with so many people, you think, oh, I'll make friends with him, this, that. No, before you make friends, you make sure that you understand who that person is. And you test him with his qualities, just like you test gold. You don't pay money to gold. You don't buy gold without testing it. You need to test gold. So in the same way, you test a man with whom you want to make friendship or any kind of relationship. First, by his tyagena. How much is he renounced, or how much is he giving up? If a man is too attached to different things in this world, today's world, we see people are very attached to their hair, or they're very attached to their beard, or they're attached to their, some stupid thing like that, some t-shirts or some, some motorcycle, or even to their mustache, But this is not a sign of a great man. A great man is actually to be tested by his renunciation, because there are higher things in life that he has to reach. And because he is looking for higher things in life, therefore, we can test a man by his renunciation, because has he reached a higher stage of understanding? Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinam rashavarjam rasapisya param drishtva nivartate. If he has got some higher taste, then he will give up the lower taste. If you've never tasted anything higher, then even the, the stupid biscuits will also taste nice. You don't have a good meal to eat, so therefore you find biscuits very nice. If you don't have in a home where there is got no good food to eat, then Maggie tastes very nice. But when you have good food to eat, then Maggie doesn't taste terrible. In the same way, when you have a higher thing to, when a person is looking for higher things in life, then he's renounced about the material world. Why? Because the Bhagavad Gita says, Yahi samsparsha jab hoga dukkha yone evate. In this material world, whatever you try to enjoy by the senses, by temporarily getting in touch with something, touching something nice, soft, or seeing something nice and so-called beautiful, nothing remains beautiful in this material world. Nothing remains for very long in this material world. So to getting attached to this material world and material things is actually foolishness. So therefore, a man should be tested by his renunciation, by tyagena. So tatha chaturvihi purushaha parikshate. Tyagena shilena, by his conduct. Tyagena shilena, how does he conduct himself? Tyagena shilena, what does he do? How does he behave? How does he pick himself up? How does he speak? All these is conduct of the person. What is his speech? How does he keep himself clean? His qualities. In this material world, in the Bhagavad Gita, this explanation is given in 4 different chapters of qualities. Guna, Sataguna, Rajaguna, Tamaguna. The mode of goodness is Sataguna. Rajaguna is mode of passion, and ignorance is the mode of tamas. So what are his qualities? In which mode does he live? Is he clean? Is he very passionate? Is he a lazy fellow? What is he? His qualities. So his tyagena, shilena, gunena, and karmana. So one should test a person with his 4 things. So therefore, yatha chaturvir kanakam parikshati nigarshana chedana tapatadana. Tatha chaturvir purushaha parikshate tyagena shilena gunena karmana. So, but now people do not try to, they don't have any, they're thinking Vedic literatures are useless things, some mythology. No, these are excellent books from where you can know how to test people, how to deal with people, whom to make friends with, whom to have relationships with. So therefore, we can see that there is tremendous amount of knowledge for us here in these, and then we will see what the Bhagavad Gita will tell us again. So let's go to our next verse. Again from Chanakya. This is about how do you test, like we're talking about testing a man. We're testing a man with 4 things: tyagena, shilena, gunena, karmana, just like we test gold by garshana, nigharshana, chedana, tapa, tadanahi. Similarly, we test a man by his tyagena, shilena, gunena, karmana. So in the same way, in the Chanakya Niti, there are some verses to test different people. This is because if you want to live in this world, you got to know what to do, with whom to live, how to deal with people, how to deal with the environment around, because they are all challenges. And therefore here, and mind you, this kind of a thing is very rare. In the whole world, you'll rarely find such literature, which gives you such beautiful teachings to actually learn how to live intelligently in this world. So, janayat preshane bhritya bandhavan vyasanagame mitram chapatti kaleshu bharyam cha vibhava akshaye. So it is said, how do you test a person whom you employ? If you've employed someone, then janayate preshane bhritya. You test your person whom you employed by the way he discharges his duty. Does he feel dutiful to discharge? He has a dutiful nature. Is he feeling dutiful to actually, when you're giving him some work to do, is he dutifully discharging it or not? If he's not, then you should know that he's not a proper person to be actually employed. Now, this is all basic knowledge that everyone should have. Then how do you actually how do you understand a person who's your relative? Bandhavan. Bandhavan means we are bandhana. Bandhava means we have some bondage. So those with which we have some bondage, how do you know what vyasana agame? When there is a vyasana agame, when there is some difficulty, how does your relative deal with you? Bandhava. And then how do you test a friend? Mitram cha apatti kaleshu. In difficulty, when the difficult times are there, how does a friend behave? And in this case, Chanakya is talking about a person who wants to test a wife or any spouse, for example. Bharyam cha vibhava kshaye. You test one spouse when misfortune or when wealth starts dwindling. When there is no more wealth or wealth is going down, then you can test one's spouse. Then they start behaving in different ways. So this is how we test people. This tests people around us. Therefore, this is why it is said that one has to have intelligent living. Now, these are rules and regulations, not rules and regulations. These are observations that you need to make. You have to understand how to make those observations. These are not, rules of law. Rather, these are rules of how to live in the world, or these are observations of how to live in this world. Now, we'll see here that how does one actually test a friend? He says, a true friend is one who does not forsake in the time of need. Ature vyasane prapte durvikshe shatru shankate raja dware smashane cha yastishtati sabandhavaha. So one who's a friend or a bandhava or a relative, who ature, when you are in difficulty, atura, when you are in real need, there is a need for you, you have some great need. At that time, how does he behave? He does not forsake you. Yes tishtati sabandhava, who is with you even when you are at the time of your need. So he is a true friend who does not forsake in the time of need. So ature, vyasane, in very difficult times, when times are very difficult, does he forsake you or does he stay with you? Durvikshe, in famine, durviksha, when there is insufficient to eat, durvikshe. Bhiksha means to eat, to get food. When there is durviksha, where does the person stay with us? Yas tishtati savandhavaha. Aturi vyasane prapti durvikshe shatru shankate raja dware, in the king's shatru shankate. Shatru shankate, when they are enemies, when we are surrounded by enemies, how does your friend forsake you or not? Yes, tishtati, one who's with you even when you are surrounded by enemies. In the court of the king, Raja Dware, and at the crematorium, at the point of death, are the people with you. Then they are friends. So this is how we also should behave. This is what behavior should be for people. Not simply some so-called, lip service of friendship. No, friendship means this. Ature, vyasane, prapte. When there is all these difficulties, then a friend stays with one. Durbhikshe, shatru shankate, when one is filled with enemies, shatru or war. Shatru is there full. Shatru is surrounded you. Shatru shankate. Raja dware, in the king's court. And the smashana. Yes, tishtati savambhava. So that is a person who is actually a friend. Okay, and then this is again a very beautiful thing we have. Avoid, again, how do you test a friend? Whom should you actually be friendly with? Here it is said, Parokshe karya hantaram, parokshe, indirect, behind you. Parokshe karya hantaram, pratyakshe priyavadinam. If a person in your paroksha behind you is actually speaking ill about you, he plots behind your back. Parokshe karya hantaram. So he does things which is against you. Parokshe karya hantaram, pratyakshe priyavadinam. But in the front, he's speaking nicely to you, sweetly to you. Varjaye tadrisham mitram, visham kumbha payomukham. He is like a pitcher of poison with milk on the top. It's like a pot of poison with just a little milk on the top. So this is how we have to test. And then how should we behave in this world? Again, how should one actually behave? Even amongst friends, how should one behave? Na vishvashit kumitrecha. Do not, definitely, if you have a friend like what is mentioned on the top, parokshe karya hantaram, pratyakshe priyavadinam, varjaye tadrisham mitram. Why are we saying all these things? You may be thinking, why are we saying all these things? We're supposed to be a spiritual organization talking about spirit and doing some nice things. No, because living in this world is tough. And while living in this world, not to make life more difficult, and how to actually live in the world so that we can make spiritual advancement, these are ways of how to live in this world in a sensible way. So therefore, we need to actually look into these factors and therefore learn all these factors. Therefore, a person like, which is mentioned here, Paroksha karya hantaram pratyakshe priyavadina varje tadrisham mitram visham kumbhapayomukham. If you have a friend who's like a pitcher of poison with milk on the top, do not trust him. As it's mentioned here, na vishwasikum mitrecha, mitre chapisha na vishwasit. Definitely you should not trust a man who's a friend, who's a bad companion, who's not properly, a bad guy, kumitre, bad friend. You should not trust him with your secrets of your life. Guhyam prakashayat. You should not express your, confidential knowledge to such people. Why? Do not trust. Obviously, you don't trust a person who's who's planning something not so nice behind you. But then, what do you do? What do you call it? So at least, so maybe you can trust a person who's a good friend, right? Or an ordinary friend. Mitra chabi shana vishwashet. Just an ordinary mitra also you should not, trust so easily. Why? Kadachit kupitam mitram. For anyone can get angry with you. If by chance he gets angry with you. Kadachit kupite mitram. Then what he can do? Sarvam guhyam prakashayet. He will reveal all your secrets out. Okay. So this is how one has to be careful of how to live in this world. Therefore, these are sutras of intelligent living in this world.
Okay.
So, and there is even one more. Because why are we talking about all these things? Why are we talking about all these things? Because kashtam chakalo murkhatvam. Foolishness is very painful. You can see someone doing something very foolish. Foolishness is actually very painful. Kashtam chakalo murkhatvam. When you want to do something foolish, irreasonable, uncalled for activities, kashtam chakalo murkhatvam. He says foolish activities are definitely very painful. But even more painful is kashtam chakalo yovanam, because the most difficult period of life is yovanam, youth. Youthful life, youthful time is the time when we make most of our mistakes. We lose our sense of discrimination. We rush into different things. Kashtam chakalo yovanam, kashtat kashtatram chaiva, paragrihe nivashanam. But kashta kashtatram chaiva, but the most difficult thing to do in this world, the most painful thing to do, is to be obliged to be living in someone else's home. That is the most difficult thing to do. So kashtam chakalo murkhatvam, kashtam chakalo yovanam. Because in youth, we do most, foolish things. The most foolish things are done while in the youth. Young children are still more controlled by their parents and the activities, what they are afraid of their parents to do. But when one becomes youthful, yovanam, then kashtam chikhalo murkha. It is the most difficult phase in the life. So therefore, to teach us in this youthful form of life, youthful time of our life, that is why we have a youth forum. Because this is the kashtam chikhalo yovanam. This is the most difficult phase of our life. And this is why we need to have education. And not any education, education from such Vedic literature, Vedic wisdom, so that we'll know what to do. Therefore, here it is mentioned here, how should you actually do your activities or carry out your activities in this world? Manasha chintayet karyam. Whatever you are planning to do, manasha chintayet karyam. Think about what you want to do. Chintayet, think what you want to do. Okay. Vachaneva prakashayet, but do not bring it out. Do not speak out what you. Do not speak out. Vachaneva prakashayet. Whatever you plan, you keep it quiet. Do not reveal what you've thought upon doing. Vachaneva prakashayet. Don't mantrena rakshayet budham. You can take wisdom from other people. You can take, keep it a secret. Take counsel or wisdom from other people. And then bring it into action. Mantrena rakshayet guhyam karyam cha api niyojayet. And then in action, you bring out your activity, whatever your thoughts are. Whatever your planning is, manasa chintayet karyam, whatever you've thought in your mind, bring it out in action. Not simply by talking about it, blibbing about it, gapping about it. No, that was not very good. But take good counsel for it. Take good advice. Carry out, think it out. And then, but not simply boast about it, talk about it. No, that is not the way to do it. No activity should be done in that manner. First, think, manasa chintayet karyam, vachaneva prakashayet. Don't ever speak it out. Vachaneva prakashayet. Mantrena rakshayet gurham. You have to mantrena, you have to take good counsel about this, whatever action you're doing. Take it up very nicely. Gurham, keep it quiet, keep it secret. And then karye chapi niyojayet. And then carry it out, execution. Bring it out to execution. Why? Because that's the way to do things. Because if you simply are, actions speak louder than words. A lot of words, I remember in Mahabharata, we always see that Karna is always proud of his activities, his powers, his abilities. He's always been telling, I will get rid of this Arjuna. Now, who does he think he is? We'll do this, I'll do that. Because he was actually a very experienced and a very, very good archer. But it so happened that several times when he did face Arjuna, especially at the time of when he went to steal the cows from the king of Virat in the Matsya Desh, when the 5 Pandavas were in incognito, exile. They were incognito. They did not reveal themselves. They kept their identities hidden. At that time, the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Drona, etc., they had gone to the Matsya Desh because they thought that that is where the Pandavas are hiding. So they went there to steal, not steal, but to carry away the cows of the king of Matsya. And when he went there, it was Arjuna alone who actually fought the whole Kaurava army, including Karna. So, he always keeps, bragging about his abilities to actually fight. So once he did that, even in front of Kripacharya, the priest of the Pandavas, Kripacharya. So when he did that in front of, I will take care of Arjuna, I will make sure I finish him off, this and that. So then what happened was, then Kripacharya actually told him, please do not be like the clouds of the Sharad Ritu. You are behaving like the clouds of the Sharad Ritu. Why the clouds of the Sharad Ritu? Because they make a lot of noise, but they hardly give you any rain. जो गरजते हैं बरसते नहीं बोलते हैं. Hindi we say जो गरजते हैं बरसते नहीं. So here also जो गरजते हैं वो बरसते नहीं. If you have something nice that you are planning to do, then keep it a secret. Get proper counseling for it. Understand it, plan it out well, and carry it out in action, not in boasting and words. Okay. So these are very nice ways by which Chanakya is actually helping us actually to know what to do. And we will just then go back to the Bhagavad Gita. Now there is another verse from Chanakya Nidhi which says, one should know, I mean, why I'm saying this is one should know whom to make friendship with, whom to get married to, whom not to. Why? And whom to teach. Even a teacher has to become careful. He says, Dushta bharya shatam mitram bhrittaschottaradayakah sasarvesha grihevasam mrityurevana samshayah murkha shishyopadeshena dushta stri bharunena cha dukkita hi samprayogena pandito hupyapidal sidati. Even a very learned man, if he is trying to instruct a foolish disciple, or even if he's a very learned person, but he is trying to maintain a wicked wife or a wicked spouse, or he or she is trying to maintain a wicked spouse, okay? Or if one is, dukkita hi sampriyogena, one is in close contact with someone who's very miserable. Pandito hopyavisidati, even a person will come to, even a pandita, even a very learned man will come to grief. So therefore, one has to learn whom to actually accept a wife is, or a husband is, whom to actually instruct, with whom one should keep friendship with whom one should make familiarity, because that is going to give you grief. That is going to give you trouble if you don't know whom to associate with, whom to meet. So, as I said before here also, that that it is very difficult to kashtam cha khalo murkhatvam, kashtam cha khalo yovanam, kashtat kashtatram cheva paragrihe nivashanam. So, kashtam cha khalo murkhatvam, being foolish is definitely very painful, but even more painful is youth. Why? Because this is the time we make most of our mistakes. Before you choose, before you know with whom you're partnering with, or whom you're trying to make friends with, or choose to live with, or make any kind of contact with, we should know what we are planning to do, what kind of things we are wanting to do, because even a pandita, even a very learned man, will become miserable. His life will become miserable. Even a learned man, we may say, oh, teaching is a very noble profession. Definitely it is, but not to a foolish disciple. And it is also a very difficult and very miserable thing if one's spouse is wicked and one has to somehow maintain such a wicked spouse. Or do not become familiar with some kind of person who's a miserable guy. Dukkitahi samprayogena. One has to be very careful how to do that, because this is wisdom. When we are young, as it says here, kashtam cha khalo murkhatvam, kashtam cha khalo yovanam. This youth is a very difficult time. We have a head rush. We rush into things without trying to actually understand what is to be done and what is not to be done. And that is why we mentioned here, right at the beginning, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidura asura. Na socham na pichacharo, na satyam teshu vidyate. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha, do what, we do not know what to do, what is not to be done. We do not know what is proper behavior and what is not proper behavior. How do you know? What is the way to know? So therefore, we are giving these, things. Now we'll come to the last part of our discussion here. And here we're going to talk about, as we said before, we saw here before, how do you test a person? You test a person according to his tyagena, gunena, tyagena, shilena, gunena, karmana. This is how we test people. So, yatha chaturvirkanaka is, so we saw that we test a person according to his attachment or detachment, his conduct, shilena, his qualities, gunena, and his actions. So therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is telling us how one gets attached. Why did I bring you through all these things? Because in this material world, we tend to get attached to someone. We want to get attached to some friendship. We want to make some friends here and there. But do we really know whom we are getting close to? And what is the result of it? How do you get attachment? So the Bhagavad Gita says, by contemplating on the objects of our senses. See, we all want to actually enjoy our senses. We all want to see something very nice. We want to eat very nice things. We want to touch very soft things, beautiful, keep in touch. So this is our nature. Pravrittim cha bhutana, nivrittim cha mahagunam. So we all want to do all these things. So we want to, and therefore we contemplate on them. Oh, that is very nice. Oh, I would like to get that. I would like to get that. So just keep on contemplating again and again about it. I would like to get that. I would like to get that. Oh, very nice. Dhyayate vishayan. Vishayan, this is called vishaya. Objects. Dhyayate vishayan pumsaha. So a person, when he actually is contemplating again and again, oh, I should get that, should get that, should get that. Then what happens? His attachment starts. Dhyayate vishayan pumsam sangashteshu upajayate. His attachment starts. So upajayate, it comes about, develops, attachment develops by contemplating on the objects of senses. So therefore, we saw in the previous verse, Chanakya is saying, Yatha chaturvi kanakam parikshate nirgharshana chedana tapa tadanahi tha chaturvir purusha parikshate. How do you know a person? How do you test a person? By his detachment. Because everyone has a general tendency to contemplate on the objects of sense. Oh, I would like that house, like some money, I would like that, I would like this. So many people have these, vishayan, attachment, dhyayate. They are always contemplating, oh, I could get this, I will live like this. There's so much of contemplation is there, objects of enjoyment in this material world. Pumsam sanghateshu upajayate is born, is developed. Jayate means upaja, it comes out. So sangas teshu upajayate, sangha teshu upajayate. And when the sangha starts upajayate, when attachment comes, sangat sanjayate kamaha. When that attachment comes and it becomes very thick and uncontrollable desire comes. Oh, I want that, I cannot live without that. It is called kamaha. It's called kama. Why? Because again, let's go back. How do you test a person? Tyagena, shilena, gunena, karmana. So a person who's attached, very difficult. Don't deal with such a person. Too much attachment for sense gratification. Should give him up. Why? Because the next thing that will come to a person who is very attached is krodha. Abhijayate. Why will krodha come to him? Because we may desire so many things in this material world, but there will obviously be some opposition sometime or the other. And this uncontrolled desire for something will blind the person. And whenever there is some so-called opposition to that, they will develop anger. They'll say, oh, I will, why is this fellow doing that? He'll lose. Krodha abhijayate. His anger will come because attachment is a problem. And when attachments comes, and then somehow there is opposition to his attachments, then krodha bhavati sammohat. He'll krodha will come. Anger will come. And when anger comes, people forget everything. They become illusion. They become no, why is this fellow behaving like this? No, he doesn't understand. Things have to be taken coolly, peacefully. You cannot just force things. No. You cannot, this world is not running because of you. It's not running because of you. Please try to understand. Things are different. Krodhat bhavati sammoh. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. Then you forget everything. What others have done for you, How much other people have sacrificed for you. We all forget everything. Sammohat, smriti vibhrama. We forget about what good others have done, what sacrifices others have done to you, what so many people have done to you. Forget everything. Krodhat bhavati sammohat, sammohat smriti vibhrama. No gratefulness. Everything is gone. Smriti vibhrama. And smriti bhamsat buddhinashat. He will do anything. He'll kill. He'll go away, do all kinds of nonsense, even kill himself, or take some terrible things, drugs, or get drunk, or do all kinds of things. Buddhinashat pramashyati. Therefore, Chanakya also says, you must have heard, Vinasha kale viparita buddhi. When time for Vinash comes, then buddhi will not work. Why buddhi will not work? Because this is the whole sequence of buddhi. How we lose our buddhi, our intelligence, of discrimination, what should be done, what should not be done. Because we have done dhyayate vishayan. We have always meditated on some objects. Dhyayate vishayan kumsam sangvashteshu prajayate sangat sanjayate kamha kamat krodha vijayate krodhat bhavati sammohat sammohat smriti vibhramat smriti bhamsat buddhinash. Intelligence is lost. You may do so much of studies, you may repeat, blah, 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 but buddhinash. A time when we actually shouldn't be doing things, we do things. Buddhinash. We see when it is time we should not be doing, we do such activities which should not be done. And that destroys our health, or destroys our intelligence, destroys our relationships, destroys a good position in the society. We lose wealth. Why? Because buddhinash. Buddhinasha, pranashyati. And then again you get completely lost. Pranashyati, completely destroyed. So if we want to actually stop destruction, first and foremost, dhyayate vishaya, we have to stop this contemplation on material objects of enjoyment. But then what do we do dhyana on? We have to do dhyana on something. Manmana bhavumad bhakto madhyajivam namashkuru. Krishna saying, no, you do on me. And there's so many other things to do. So many things that we can actually, the Bhagavad Gita has got so many beautiful instructions. What you should think about. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitre karuna evacha. Do not have any dvesha, any enviousness. Dhyayate vishayam. No dhyayate vishayam. Sangashteshu, because attachment will come. Try to break it. Nivritte tu bhangnum. Nivritti is kumhaguna. So break this attachment is greater. One will get strength out of it. Not by actually following this attachment. Following this attachment, this is what we will go. Pravrittim cha bhutana. Nivrittim cha mahaguna. By following our natural tendency to do all these nonsense things, we will go down. Have you ever heard of any person going ahead in life because of indulging in their senses? No. They have all sacrificed, and therefore they've become great. They've sacrificed to do something else. They sacrifice their good sleep. If you want to become a runner, you have to sacrifice your good sleep. Go running, so much difficulty, morning, heat, cold, nothing, you have to go running, then only. Even material is something good. So, but this doing activities which has no meaning, which will give you nothing material, no material good or spiritual good, then it is all useless. So, dhyayate vishayam pumsam, sangashteshu prajayate. So, these are sutras for intelligent living. This is how to live intelligently in this material world. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So we need to actually, every day look into these books, study them, help us to actually live intelligently. That's why we had the title of this whole presentation is Sutras for Intelligent Living, not foolish living, pointless living, idealist living, goalless living. Why are you living here in this material world? Why are we living here? Just to eat the next meal? Make big, so get this, get that. But how long? How many? Has any great person lived in this world long enough? So many great people, so-called great people, come and gone. What is the use? Like I remember when we were studying history in school, I remember, I don't know if you have ever remember reading about Kanishka. There was a bust which was found in the deserts of northwest India, and it was below it was written, his name was written as Kanishka. We don't know who he was. What he was looks like some kind of a royal personage, a great personage who had some big statue made out of him. But there is nothing, no one knows anything about it. He's just a bust in the dust. So if we want sutras how to live in this world, we have a short life. And in the short life, we have to achieve our goals. We have to achieve something great, some immortality, some great achievement we have to achieve in this world. How do you do that? So that is why it is said, one should know what to do, what not to do. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. Janana vidura asura. We should know what is being clean. Na saucham na pichacharo. Na satyam teshu vidyate. What is cleanliness? We have to know what is cleanliness. Only when we avoid so-called thoughts of illicit connections can we actually be clean. When thoughts of illicit connections are in our over and above our mind, we will not be able to be clean. What is proper behavior? Achara. Vichara, the thought processes may not be always be possible, but we can actually at least have proper behavior. And proper behavior comes from proper habits. And proper habits give us good behavior, and proper behavior gives us good character. And then we also should find out what is the truth. What is the point in living in this world when just pursuing the untruth? So therefore, let's again go back to the Bhagavad Gita. How does one actually become attached? Attached to this world, and attachment brings great trouble to everyone. So, therefore, this Bhagavad Gita is actually for making us understand what to do, not to get some certificate. This whole concept of education for certificate is a useless concept because it doesn't take you anywhere. It doesn't really make you intelligent. It does not really make you teach you how to live in this world. This is teaching us, this is doing a post-mortem of our internal life or our internal self. Post-mortem, you know where you are when you actually study this Bhagavad and know where the pitfalls are. You can stop yourself from falling down. So this is how it has been mentioned. So therefore, we would like to end here because it's 8 o'clock. And therefore, we would see what our hosts have to say. And then we can see what else can be done. Thank you for tolerating me, and thank you for joining us in this little session during a period when we are all put in homes because of the pandemic. But nonetheless, let us make the best use of a bad bargain. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, His Grace Madhav Prabhu, for coming among us and giving such a wonderful session, explanation of how these important principles can be applied in life. We really appreciate Prabhu's presentation on the Sutras for Intelligent Living. And we request Prabhu to come more among all of us and give some more sessions on this topic where we can get some elaborate explanation of certain principles. And I'm thankful to all of you for joining this wonderful session, as it is already 8. We are ending it here. If you have any feedback, you can share in the group, as you have been added to the new group. So you can share there your feedbacks. So I can see already so many students are expressing their gratitude and vote of thanks to Prabhuji. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.